Hey everybody, it's Rod with the Photo Fair, back again to talk about Swirly Curly Bokeh and the Photo Fair coming up November the 10th at the Newark Pavilion in Newark, California. So we got that show coming up, and before I get started on my lenses today, I got to tell you, we're real excited to announce that we have a factory demonstration and sale for Sigma lenses. These are some amazing lenses, the art lenses, the fisheye lenses, all the cool stuff that Sigma has. Factory representatives will be there, and they're even offering special show day only rebates. You can have those lenses delivered through local dealer Seawood Photo, or you can have them drop shipped directly to your home. So that's kind of cool. Come see all the latest cool stuff from Sigma. But today, in this video, I kind of want to talk about something else you might find at Photo Fair, and that's old classic glass with that beautiful swirly, curly, Petzval style bokeh. One such lens, a lens I'm real fond of, is the Zeiss Biotar 58mm f2. Now, this is a lens that was available in exact amount. It was also available in M42 screw mount. That, of course, is like the Pentax Spotmatic type screw mount. SLR lens, so it can be adapted to work on your Canon EOS SLR, and of course it can be adapted to work on just about any mirrorless camera body. This lens is pretty sharp. It doesn't have the best lens coatings. They were single coated back in the days when they made this lens in the 40s and 50s. But Zeiss had pretty good coatings even before the multi-coating era. So it does a pretty good job. There's a lot of copies of this lens, including the somewhat famous Russian Helios lens. I also have one of those. The Helios lens gives you the delicious bokeh, just like this lens, but it definitely isn't very sharp. So this guy is pretty darn sharp, this Zeiss Biotar. You can pick these Zeiss Biotars up in real good shape for anywhere from about $50 on up to $200. You'll pay a little more for them in M42 Universal. Mine is actually exact amount, and you are able to use Exacta lenses on an EOS camera body and still get infinity focus. However, I'm not sure whether that'll work on Nikon DSLRs or not and still give you infinity focus. So yeah, you'll have to check on that. Maybe I'll put a note in the video if I can verify that. But any of the mirrorless bodies, not going to be an issue at all, because this was designed for an SLR. Take a look at the kind of background bokeh you get with these lenses. It literally swirls around your subject. Take a peek. I love that. I love that look. I never get tired of that look. And I use this lens a lot on my little EOS M5. In the last video, I talked about using a focal reducer, which I have on this lens, that turns this into a 36mm lens, and it makes it a 1.4 effective. I talked about that in the Leica Teleomer at 90 video last time, so I won't go into great detail over that, but this lens with a focal reducer on an APS-C camera is amazing. Get a little extra speed, you still get all that beautiful, delicious bokeh. So I highly recommend this if you can swing it. If you get it in universal mount, you're probably going to spend $100 to $200. If you buy an exact amount, you'll spend quite a bit less. Exact adapters a little harder to come by. I found one no problem on eBay from a Chinese maker that I don't know, $20, something like that is very reasonable. So the lens that got all of this kind of swirly, curly, Petzval style bokeh going for me was actually lomography. These guys actually contracted with the Zenit factory in Russia to create a copy of an old Petzval lens, complete down to the detail of the little knob to focus it. Now the focusing on this thing is super coarse. It's kind of a nightmare to get it accurate, but I got the brass one. They do offer it. If you want to pay them a premium, they'll give you an anodized black. I like the brass. It kind of ties in with that classic. It's a copy of a 19th century lens, and they were all, for the most part, brass back then. So I kind of like the brass look. It definitely gets a lot of looks if you're using it out in public. This is a full frame lens. They make it for a Nikon or Canon, and of course it's completely mechanical manual lens. It uses Waterhouse stops, and the Waterhouse stops are actually a piece of steel plate with a hole cut out in it that you drop in there to get your f-stops. I actually shoot the thing wide open all the time. It's an 85 millimeter f2.2, and it delivers delicious bokeh. Take a look. Isn't that nice? And it's actually reasonably sharp. You know, a lot of people might think, oh, the Zenit lenses, those old Russian lenses aren't so good. But, you know, that's factory's been somewhat modernized over the years, and the lens is pretty good. It's not razor sharp. You're not going to win a, resolution contest with this thing, but really that's not the goal of this. Portrait focal length. Again, if you want to use it on APS-C camera, there's nothing stopping you from using one of those focal reducers on this one either. So, and then you'd gain that same, 1 f-stop of effective f-stop. What I like about the Petzval lens, other than its just absolutely awesome looks, is it really is a reproduction of an old Petzval lens. And those were the lenses that really had that just amazing out-of-focus backgrounds where the out-of-focus highlights seem to swirl around your subject. And although this Zeiss Biotar emulates that to some degree, it's not quite as effective as the original Petzval design. And you could probably see that in those photographs that the Petzval lens really just made an amazing swirliness to that background. It's quite an interesting effect. And again, I never get tired of it. This particular lens, though, they're kind of proud of it. It's well made. It's all brass and anodized aluminum and, well made, but they're getting about $600 for one of these. You can find them used on eBay or even maybe at the photo fair, for as maybe half that, maybe $400, something like that. It's a fun lens if you've got the coin and you want to really go out with something kind of unique, something that's going to definitely turn heads. People are going to be looking at you, what the heck is that? It's a great way to go. Mine is actually a Nikon mount, and then I put an EF adapter on it. So I kind of like that because if I ever do sell this lens, or for any reason wanted to shoot it on a Nikon camera, I can just take the EF adapter off and it'll go right on a Nikon body. So I kind of get the best of both worlds. There really is no mechanical connection or electronic connection to the camera body anyway, so using an adapter really doesn't have much of a disadvantage that I can see. It's sharp, it's crisp, focuses to infinity properly, it works great. So the Petzval lens, fantastic, beautiful bokeh. If you want to get something that you can pick up for a lot less money that will get pretty close to a similar kind of situation, this 58 millimeter Biotar f2 is amazing. When you use this lens without the focal reducer on a APS-C camera, you get an effective 90 millimeter lens anyhow. So it's basically like a 90. And it's f2. And then, of course, if you use the focal reducer on it, it kind of brings it back down to effectively about a 60, but you get the 1.4 effective f-stop. So depending on how you want to use it, doesn't matter. But I use this lens a lot. I really, really like this lens. I enjoy it very, very much. And I would be very surprised if you couldn't find one of these at the upcoming photo fair in Newark at the Newark Pavilion on November the 10th. You can also find those Russian Helios lenses. I'm pretty sure that Emmanuel's going to be bringing some of those. He had some at the Portland show, the Helios lenses, and I think he even had a couple of these. So come to photo fair and pick one of these guys up. You will have a ball using these things, just getting amazing photographs. And none of the modern lenses really pull that off. Today's modern lenses are amazing. They're razor sharp. And you'll see that if you come out to photo fair and you look at these Sigma lenses, maybe mount one on your camera, take a few pictures, they're like clinically perfect. The lenses are just razor sharp. The contrast is amazing. The color is beautiful, but they're almost too perfect. It's almost like a sterile photo, It's just like everything is perfect and therefore it's not perfect, if that makes any sense at all. The modern lenses are so good that they kind of have given up some of the character that the older lenses used to have. Now, I shoot with a lot of modern lenses. I'm shooting this video right now on my EOS M5 with Canon's brand new 32mm f1.4 autofocus lens, and that lens falls into that same category. It's like clinical perfection. It's razor sharp, it's got great color, great contrast, it focuses, it's amazing on every level. But it doesn't have the character of this old Biotar lens. And that's why I have the old lenses and I have the new lenses. I like them both. So come to Photo Fair, you can find modern new stuff, including a whole bunch of awesome Sigma lenses with special deals for Photo Fair. And you can find old school glass like this and have just a blast on even your DSLR, if you've got a Canon DSLR or possibly a Nikon DSLR, and any of the mirrorless cameras from Micro Four Thirds right on up to the new full frame cameras that have come out from Nikon and Canon, and of course Sony's A7 line has been out for a long time. You can just have a blast with these lenses. That's really all I have right now. I hope to see you all at the Photo Fair on November the 10th at the Newark Pavilion. There are other camera shows around the United States as well. I know that Anton's running his show down in Pasadena on the 11th. And so there's lots of great shows out there. I encourage you all to go to the camera shows. They're so much fun. Get to talk to people who really know their stuff and get to see and hold a lot of awesome stuff. It's so much better actually touching it and feeling it and looking through it on your camera before you buy it, rather than just ordering something online and hoping you like what you get. So Photo Fair, November the 10th at the Newark Pavilion in Newark, California. Hope to see you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.